A friendly conversation with Michelle. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about comfort zone and fear. Hello there. My name is Michelle, but you can call me May. If you've been following my podcast, you've noticed that this one took longer to release because the past few days I've been very busy. I've been focusing on myself and working out. And for today's topic, I'm very, very enthusiastic because I think this is one of the things that I needed to test for myself to be able to talk about. Going back to working out, I'm pretty proud of myself as I've never been so consistent with working out before. Working out, it says something out of my comfort zone. I actually don't like sweating too much before, and I try to overcome that uncomfortable normal body human reaction that happens when we move a lot or when the weather is hot. But yeah, I think the reason why I've struggled so much with the consistency of working out is because I didn't like the idea of going out of my comfort zone before. And that was where I was wrong. I realize now that being in your comfort zone is okay, but if you stay too long or don't try to seek out trying new things or, you know, just getting out of that comfort zone of yours, you're most likely not going to grow as a person because then you're missing out on a lot of opportunities that you could have had. And who knows, if you're trying out new things, you might discover so many other things about yourself that you haven't figured out before. And in order to have that sort of progress to a better emotional being or to be able to achieve goals, we need to learn how to step out of our comfort zone sometimes. And I think that takes a lot of courage, that takes a lot of, just strength, because stepping out of your comfort zone comes with a lot of fear. And I've done a lot of thinking, analyzing, and just giving myself some time to understand myself. And I think that a lot of us need to have that kind of chance with ourselves, get to know ourselves, have some alone time. Because this helped me discover so much of my fears that held me back from a lot of great opportunities. And yes, there has been a lot of things that I've been regretting, I've regretted in the past. One of those things is actually my dad. He wanted me to take taekwondo lessons when I was young, and supposedly I was going to have those classes with my cousin, and we were really close growing up. But when he backed out on our first day of classes, supposedly, I felt like I didn't want to do that anymore because I didn't have anyone else. And I was scared of the fact that I was going to some classes that I know no one. And that made me that because I'm a bit of an introvert, so that made me fear just going out, just going to those classes. And I was kind of crying to my dad that I didn't want to go, so we didn't go. And honestly, just thinking about how I would have been able to build myself in terms of strength, in terms of athleticism, I feel like I would have been doing much better with this fear of, being consistent. And I really wish I took those classes. I really wish I went out of my way, even if I had the fear of not being, not having any friends, because I could have made friends if I just tried, if I just went. But no, I backed out. And thinking about that, I've forgiven myself for choosing to back out, because then I know now that I'm older, that there are so many great things that come from stepping out of your comfort zone. That comes from, taking chances. I know you've heard the saying before, which is you miss the shots. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, which I think I also agree with because it's true. It's so much better to know that you tried and, succeed. And if you don't, then what matters is you tried. I think we beat ourselves too much into failing, but there's seriously nothing wrong with failing because with failure comes with a lot of experience and lessons that I feel like we all should be able to put into heart. And you know, um there's just a lot of things that I really wish that someone told me when I was younger, that the things that I could have done in the past were the things that could have improved me as a person. And now I'm not gonna let go of the chance. I'm gonna try and slowly take small steps that leads me slowly out of my comfort zone and try to build new hobbies, new habits, and try to see for myself what I'm really good at and what I'm not good at, what I really like doing and what I don't really like doing. As I've mentioned before, I'm such a big people pleaser, and that was one of the things that I want to talk about in this episode because that was my comfort zone. That was what I was only familiar with. And then as I grew up, I learned that being a people pleaser is very toxic because the only person that you should be pleasing is yourself. Because if you're putting other people first over your mental health, you're more likely to be more sad, to be more in pain. Because we live our lives supposedly for ourselves, not for others. And that's why it's so important for us to step out of our comfort zone because something that we could be so familiar with can become something that we normalize. And one of those things that we are normalizing are toxic behaviors, toxic traits. And that is something that we need to recognize and realize that it's not good, it's not healthy for us, and maybe for even the people around us. And that's why we need to seek out those opportunities and overcome our fears of seeking out the unfamiliarity. I started reading this book about emotional loneliness and, just the lack of emotional intimacy. And I realized that stems so much from our childhood. That stems so much from the people that we grew up with in our childhood. It's called Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents: How to Heal from Distant, Rejecting, or Self-Involved Parents by Lindsay C. Gibson. One of the things that stuck with me is one of the stories of the people she interviewed, which was Sophie. Sophie grew up in a family where they invalidated so much of her emotions that she started to feel guilty of complaining as she grew up. And that became her comfort zone. That became what she normalized as. And she always felt guilty for the way she felt whenever she wanted something but she didn't get it. But then she realized at some point of her life that she shouldn't be sad or guilty for feeling the way she does. It's really so depressing because it stemmed from her childhood. It stemmed way back into her past, and that she had to grow up thinking that was what she needed to feel whenever she had, the sense of endangered emotional intimacy from people. That's why I think it's so necessary for us to take a step back and, look at our past and what was something that we normalized that became our own comfort zone, which isn't healthy for us. And I know it's scary. I know it's terrifying. I know it's so confusing. And it's okay because I am in this journey with you. You are not alone in trying to discover other parts of yourself. I believe in you. I believe that you will be able to overcome your fears. And I believe that you will become a much better person than you were before. If you feel like you've started doing any progress, remember, any progress is better than no progress at all. Then I'm very, very proud of you. And it's okay to fail because there are many other opportunities for you. So don't be afraid to keep trying because you are doing this for yourself and no one else. See you in my next episode. Bye!